This is the primal scream of a dying regime.
Pray for our enemies, because we're going medieval on these people. You're just not got a free shot on all these networks lying about the people. The people have had a belly full of it. I know you don't like hearing that. I know you try to do everything in the world to stop that, but you're not going to stop it. It's going to happen.
And where do people like that go to share the big lie? MAGA media. I wish, in my soul, I wish that any of these people had a conscience.
Ask yourself, what is my task and what is my purpose? If that answer is to save my country, this country will be saved.
War Room. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Saturday, 25 July, year of our Lord, 2026. Okay, we're going to go in a minute when we finish with Todd to war and the rumors of war next, of what is taking our attention away from the problem that we have to address. A problem, folks, as complicated as the situation, you saw this from the cold open, as complicated as the situation is in the Middle East. And why is it complicated? I don't know. We're talking Persia and Israel and Turkey and Egypt and Saudi Arabia, you know, the Bedouins, they've been doing this. They've been at each other's throat for, I don't know, a couple of thousand years. Read the histories of the campaigns of Alexander the Great. Read the March Up Country by Xenophon. Read the March Home, however you want to refer to it. Read the Bible. Read it all. Go back to the ancient sources. You read it. You know what you think you're reading? You think you're reading the headlines. You think you're on Drudge or on Citizens Free Press. I'm just clicking through. It ain't changed, and it's not going to change. Okay, but we have a country in this 250th year, founded by some of the greatest men and women in the history of mankind, and it's created the freest country, the country that freed more people, created more wealth, did more for the huddled masses. I don't know about your family, but we were essentially kicked out of Ireland, right? Or kicked out or left because there's nothing, you're just eating dirt. There weren't a lot of fond memories for the old country or for the Brits, okay? And if you look at, the huddled masses, they got a shot here. They got a break. They got a break to do their own thing. How about that? Without somebody, some king or aristocracy or someone telling them here what they're going to do and when they're going to do it. And enemies of that idea and the Christian faith that underpins it have been targeting this country for hundreds of years. And now we have a problem, and we got to talk about that problem, and we have to get a solution to the problem because it's not going to go away. It's metastasized. In fact, as you think Mike Johnson is going to solve this, or Steve Scalise, are they going to solve this problem? You think John Thune's going to solve this problem? Mitch McConnell, you think they're going to solve it? You think they're going to solve it? They all just ran home. When you see your congressman get up in his grill and say, yo, dude, what the hell are you doing back here? I hired you to be there to solve the problem, like the invasion of this country. What are you doing? And don't let them give you some gobbledygook. Todd Bensman, you got an amazing idea. It's up on Fox Digital. Talk to me about this commission, Truth Commission. What do you want to do? You want to get to the bottom of how it happened, how many are here, where are they, and who should be held accountable for this, correct?
That's correct. Steve, there are terabytes of unexcavated emails at the Department of State, CBP, all the DHS agencies, memorandum, discussion notes, the material of policy making that are just sitting there. Nobody has yet moved to grab them and study them to find out who to hold to account for what they did during those 4 years so that it can never happen again, so that we know what to put in place, what sort of internal accountability rules and barriers and walls to put in place to prevent that from happening again. So I'm proposing a presidential truth commission be appointed to start excavating that while we still have a couple of years to do it and produce a report. And yes, a report, that's good for policymaking, but people who would serve on this Truth Commission could also make criminal referrals. Remember, I told you that there were hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts, no bid contracts that were just let to, mom and pop, who knows who they were, to resettle the illegal aliens into the country. And that went to NGOs abroad. And here there were United Nations relationships with people in the State Department. There was no daylight between them. It was like operationally incestuous what was going on there. But like who, what, when, how did all that happen? It's just sitting there. And I really hope that the window doesn't close on that with the end of the Trump administration before we get a chance to harvest all of it and study it and hold people to account and make policy to fix it so that never happens again.
So, as soon as you mention commission, federal government, and report, people got to go and hit the snooze button, right? Hang on for a second. But that's the current structure you're recommending. And the reason you're recommending it is you're saying, and it doesn't have to be that, it could actually be something the government does itself right now. Your point is, this just didn't happen. It just didn't happen. This is where we get back to the stolen election of 2020. You had the guy on Ezra Klein's show, you said yesterday, they're inextricably linked. The voting irregularities and the voting fraud with the invasion of the country, and that, you've got these guys, these nativists and these xenophobes like War Room and Bannon, and all they do is hammer on that and this. You're damn right, because they are inextricably linked. And finally, I'd like to take that transcript and get it over to Fox and have them read it. But Todd, the reason you're using this construct and this structure is that at least that would initiate something. You're saying there's a massive amount of information internally to the government today from government agencies that worked in conjunction with NGOs, et cetera, in a very organized manner. This just didn't. Hundreds of thousands of people, that amazing photograph that's the cover of your book. And I might say, as great as that book is, I think it's the one time that a photo cover art sold a book, right? Because it summarized exactly what was in the book so brilliantly. So you say, I got to buy that book and read it. Is that just didn't happen. What happened at the International Bridge there just didn't happen. Those people just didn't randomly show up. This is well thought through, and it took a massive government effort in addition to these quasi-government NGOs to organize and do it. And you're saying, don't take it from Todd Bensman, and don't take it from Steve Bannon, and don't take it from the War Room, and don't take it from Heritage. Take it from the data itself, correct?
Go get it. It's just sitting there. Go get it. I'm not going to say that I didn't propose this when I was in the administration. But I'm out here, and it wouldn't bother me a bit if that got some traction from the outside.
And we're going to be on it, very much so. Last thing, just the numbers. And look, you got a lot of people. You got home and these guys. They're working on this thing. I'm not so sure about the new DHS guy. Just these numbers. We have to. The president's done a magnificent job on sealing the border to the degree you can seal it. You've got the military down there on the southern border. We have Customs and Borders been empowered, and it now feels like somebody's got their back. You got the Coast Guard. You've got everybody kind of working in conjunction, doing a great job. But the beating heart of the problem today, the battlefield has shifted to internal enforcement. And in the biggest cities you have, these magnificent cities, the greatest cities in the history of mankind, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, Minneapolis, others, you have a Marxist jihadist groups running them that are saying, absolutely, you cannot enforce federal immigration policy. They are worse than John C. Calhoun before the Civil War. What is to be done then, and how are we to judge the math and the numbers of how we're doing?
The public numbers, the public record is showing that ICE has arrested and deported about 605,000 since the beginning. Those are not the kind of numbers that anybody really envisioned. We're envisioning a lot higher than that. It's about 1,200 a day. There was a period there where we wanted 3,000 a day, which would be about 1 million a year. And it's just not happening. Also, I'm not sure that I trust those numbers that well. I would want much greater transparency, break down those numbers. Where'd they are those the border numbers? I think there's another 400,000 that were turned away at the border, 440,000 turned away at the border. We're not sure. And then we don't really know how many self-deported. There's a lot that is not known about what happened. And I would call on much greater transparency, much higher numbers. I think that when ICE first started, they forgot to tie their shoelaces, tripped over them a few times out of the gate. We all know about that. But I also want to point out that the expectation of how many, remember, I was on the border on your show live all the time while the thousands were all around me. They were coming in 10,000 a day, 8,000 a day, sometimes 14,000 a day, and turning themselves in all at once to Border Patrol. Nobody's turning themselves in for deportation on the interior at all. We have to track them down one by one, so that you can't really expect a deportation effort to match the number that were coming in monthly. It's just not, they were turning themselves in. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. And they're running on the interior, but there is a lot more that can be done to organize and target not just criminal aliens. It needs, I watched Mark Morgan on your show the other day. I agree with him. It's the worst first, but that means there's a second, third, fourth, and fifth category too. And we got to go get everybody here. And I think I'm optimistic about it. We've got 22,000 officers hired now. We've got detention space, like 75,000 beds now. So we've got the space that we never had before. The Biden administration did a Sherman's March to the Sea before they left, and just left everything a smoking ruin in deportation. It all had to be rebuilt with big, beautiful bill money, which didn't even come until July 1 year ago. So I'm optimistic that everything is starting to really line up and be in place. Fingers crossed. But I think the numbers are going to be above 2,000 a day pretty soon, and then in place to get to that magic 3,000 number. So fingers crossed on that.
What?
And I think we've got the strategy in place now too. I would like to see more work site enforcement. That needs to happen.
When this gets down to it, and we got about a minute, and I know you got to bounce. President Trump's Herculean sealed the border, then got the money, the manpower, the training, all of it to have in place the pieces you need to do this. This is now, let's get down to the hub of it, or the nub of it. This is a test of political wills. The people opposed to us not only don't want anybody removed, they want to give them full rights of American citizenship and have them vote. And right now they're trying to get them to vote either illegitimately or any way possible. And they want more here. As you see it right now, who's going to win this test of political wills, Todd Bensman?
I think Tom Homan is going to win that, and the president are going to win that. I'm optimistic. I was on the inside there. I am familiar with what's going on, and I think that the change in tactics is really ultimately designed to thwart the organized propaganda machine that involves attacking ICE officers while they're doing their jobs, and drawing a response from them that can then gets videotaped and put out there. So I think everything's in place. So let's just hope that they stay the course, add worksite enforcement on there. Can I just say a quick thing about the voting?
Yeah. I tell you what, hang on for 1 second. I'll hold you through the break. I want you to talk about the voting and give your coordinates. Harrison Berger is going to join us about this NDAA and Section 219. Let's get down to it, figure out what happened here before people ran out of town. The great Tej Gill is also going to be here. New York Post has got an exclusive report on a very sophisticated, complicated, and large military operation to take care of the nuclear, material problem. Tej is going to break it down as a special forces hero. Short commercial break. You're in the War Room on a Saturday morning. Get a pot of Warpath coffee on. Let's get jacked up.
War Room Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
The Phoenix engine room reminds me of the cloud pivot strategy and what's going on here. But most importantly, as we talk about the American Revolution, the book Revolution that so many of you have bought and put up high on the New York Times bestseller list for week after week after week. And as I say, this kind of went through three phases. You had American Revolution, then you had the War of Independence, which I argue is this part we're in now. Then you had the building of the nation, the coming together around the Constitution, what was not working in the Continental Congress, and then all the way up to the War of 1812. The British tried to come back and take it over again, and finally General Jackson and a motley crew of dog's breakfast of patriots down in New Orleans crushed Wellington's one of Wellington's armies in the Battle of New Orleans early in 1815 that really ended it. Is I think ended it. Tom Paine, who wrote Common Sense, which was really something that got people fired up. He was, and people come in and out of the story, like people come in and out of the story today. He was there for the American Revolution part and really got people fired up. I just want to give a quote. This is from Tom Paine. And by the way, they sent Tom Paine. He was so over the top, I guess you could say. They said, "Hey Tom, I think you got better options in revolutionary France." So when he went over there, his quote. We shall have no real hope to survive the enemies arranged against us until we hang the traitors lurking among us. That's a quote from Tom Paine, one of the great founders of this country, laying it right out there. Harrison Berger. I find it, there's something I can't put my finger on, and so I've talked to Kurt Mills. You work with Kurt over American Conservative. And you followed this, you tracked this very closely, and you came on the other day to do a good first cut. There's something not right with what's going on. I can't put my finger on it. I can't understand why the House voted on an NDAA and then got the hell out of town. And at first, I said, well, no, they're just taking a long weekend. And they go, no, you're wrong. I go, well, they're just taking like a couple of days. They're going to be back because it's only the third week of July, or it's only middle of July, late July. And they go, no. They're not coming back. They say they're not going to come back till Labor Day, but they're going to take it longer than that. They'll probably be September 14th. That's when the Senate's coming back. And I go, yo, with everything we got going on and the backs against the wall of holding serve in the House would take 6 weeks off right now to kind of go hide and really come back. I think would have nothing more than 2 or 3 weeks in the legislative schedule until they go campaign supposedly in October. And they go, yeah. So Harrison, this 219, and here's my problem with this. I've got a lot of problems with it. The fundamental problem I have with it is we have not had a robust debate. It's still very hard to kind of figure out what it is. But I know when people don't want to debate it and want to stuff it in something, this is exactly what happened on the situation with Big Tech trying to put in the wording they wanted in the last NDAA. They wanted to put it in there about preemption, that they would have no controls, nothing on them. And you've seen what's happened over the last couple of days, and I'll have more about that, about this breakout and containment that we warned about. So the same thing they did there is they done, and they don't want any debate on it because they understand if you actually start debating it in the common sense of the American people, they're going to go, well, hang on for a second. Why are we doing this? So explain to me the process of 219. What is it? How did it get in there? And how did it get in there without any robust debate so that people still today don't quite know everything about it, sir?
Well, this bill is just absolutely shocking, as you've covered extensively on your show. And I'd really encourage every American to just go online right now, look up the text of Section 219 in the NDA and read it, because there's just so many lies that are being deployed right now, mainly by the Israel lobby and the defense contractor-funded politicians, voting for it about this bill. What Section 219 is going to do is that it's going to designate this executive agent with this extremely broad mandate for expanding and accelerating the U.S.-Israel security relationship across 9 different domains. And if you look at those 9 domains, they're not programs like Iron Dome. They're 9 basket categories, which have an unlimited number of programs contained in them. So AI, quantum technology, bioweapons, these are all listed in the bill. virtually every category of weapons imaginable, including those that don't really exist yet.
In the 9 you have are all the most important technologies. From that are going to come the most important weapon systems and technologies to cover it all. This covers of anything there's nothing that's not meaningful in these categories, and the categories are written so broadly. It's the equivalent of the Made in China 2025 when China listed the 10 industries they were going to dominate by 2025. As we said, the top 5, regenerative robotics, artificial general intelligence, quantum computing, advanced chip design, biotech. I said, gosh, the top 5 sectors they're talking about get you to the singularity. That gets you to the Homo sapien, 2.0. The Chinese, the same exact mentality is in this, where they've laid out every crucial, massive segment, not weapons program. We do have relationships with South Korea, with NATO, with the United Kingdom, with people that we have fought wars with victoriously, right, and pass on a programmatic basis, or maybe even a little broader than programmatic, but fairly narrowly defined, so that they're bringing their expertise to something that we can both work together, but they're narrowly defined. There's not some big blanket that we're going to basically take the future of national security, the future of weapon systems, the future of the defense of this republic, and we're going to partner with somebody. And that partner is going to have just as much say-so over it as we are, sir.
That's exactly right. And as far as I know, there's only one other executive agent model at the Pentagon right now. But like you're saying, it has nothing at all to do with Section 219. It's with AUKUS, this submarine pact that we have with Australia and the United Kingdom. And you're right. That executive agent, he worked backward from this kind of narrow and fixed objective. It involves delivering these nuclear-powered submarines to Australia. It's on a set timeline, and it's in service of our strategic interest of containing China. It's our goal. And what's interesting is when AUKUS was enacted, you had a lot of critics in Australia who were complaining that it would make Australia a vassal to the United States. What Section 219 is going to do to the U.S.-Israeli security relationship is it's going to make us a vassal to Israel, just like Australia is a vassal to the United States under AUKUS. And like you're saying, Section 219 is much broader than this one submarine program that's defined in our AUKUS relationship. It's all 9 categories of AI, quantum computing, and a 10th, which I should mention, which is this kind of broad, open-ended category, which says anything we haven't even mentioned here. So it's open-ended and could include all sorts of partnerships that aren't even included in the bill.
Talk about the executive part of this. The executive part of this. What is that? Because it's kind of it's got an agent ability to it that I've never seen before. You mentioned that. Describe to the audience what it is, and what it means.
So basically, they're appointing a specific office, and they're going to set up a permanent office within the Pentagon to seek out and find all sorts of technologies that we can integrate together and to avoid duplication. That's the instruction. So it's the exact logic of a merger. Now, if you listen to the Israel lobby right now, they're going to deny that this is a merger at all, that that's the goal. But if you just listen to Benjamin Netanyahu, he wrote in a letter, I think to Congress about a month ago, that this is his plan for merging the U.S.-Israel security relationship or the tech and defense industrial bases. And the goal is to sidestep this waning support for Israel in the United States, a consequence of the live stream genocide that Israel just perpetrated with U.S. Tax dollar support that Americans don't want to contribute to anymore. And so they see that Americans don't want this U.S. security relationship, that they want to change it, and they want to prevent Americans from having democratic control over it. So they're going to hide it, they're going to conceal it, and they're going to cement it in the Pentagon with this executive agent.
This is the problem. It hurts Israel. And look, there's a lot of debate, and I don't agree it's actually a genocide. I think it's over the top, and there's a lot of debate whether it's a genocide or not. But let's say this. People now are saying, hey, why are we tied up with this thing and tied up going forward? I make the case that they're not, if they're not a vassal state and not a protector, because if they are a vassal state or a protector, they got to play by our rules. And our rules are, we don't want an imperial Israel. We're not interested in Lebanon. We're not interested in Syria. We're not interested in going in and controlling Tehran. But it's in Israel's best interest for their sovereignty to stand on their own. And this is not a way to do it. This is only going to bring up more controversy, et cetera, because folks got to understand, you're not just going to slap this in there and it's going to go away. That is not going to happen. Okay. One, I think this can be stopped now. To have our sovereignty, you can't have this. We're a sovereign nation. Yes. Can we have people like South Korea, the United Kingdom, Germany, France, the Italians who on certain weapon systems are fantastic? And in Israel, they do have some technology is fantastic. And on a weapon system basis, you make it. This is not that. This is a merger of the advance of what's coming now and in the future of the defense industrial basis. And it's just not going to fly. We're going to fight this tooth and nail to get it out here. And this is one of the reasons they ran out of town. And this is why they don't want to talk about it. And they're going to give you happy talk if you discuss this. But for Israel's own independence, and when they're independent, if they want to take a tank column and go to Beirut, God bless you. If you want to take a tank column and go to Damascus, God bless you. If you want to take a tank column and go to Tehran, God bless you. We're not in. Okay, we don't want to be in. We want to be out of the whole region. Harrison, where they go at American Conservative to get more of the information you and Kurt Mills are putting up all the time?
Yeah, we wrote a great piece, or we wrote a couple. We had something with Tucker Carlson, an interview recently where he's gone, really in depth onto this and on his programs as well, talking about the dangers of Section 219. He interviewed Dennis Kucinich on it. We interviewed him about it. And so, yeah, I'd say to read The American Conservative. Perfect. The other thing I just want to mention, if we have time, is that this is really moving in the opposite direction. I mean, as you said, we already...
Hang on 1 second. I'm just going to hold you through the break. By the way, Todd Bensman had to bounce. I'm going to get all his coordinates. Harrison's going to stick with us. Tej is on deck here in the War Room on a Saturday morning. Next.
War Room. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Okay, by the way, Todd Bensman had to bounce. I want to thank Todd for giving us so much time on his first Saturday back. He's over at Heritage now and going to be doing great work over there. And Dr. Roberts, the team, want to thank him. ToddBensman.com is where you can go get all his information. He's got a great piece up on Fox Digital, and Fox Digital has some great pieces up on it. ToddBensman.com, all one word, or at Bensman Todd, kind of reverse that, on X. And Todd's always putting up great information. He's now back 14 months in service at the government, and now back over at Heritage. He'll be on the show, hopefully a lot, to tell us, like he told us in those years in the wilderness, what was going on. And I agree with his commission. I would actually hope that the government would just step in and just let's get it done without doing a commission. But if you got to do that, let's do it. Harrison, this thing is so over the top with the agent and all that. Where do people go to get more information? Because this is a long way from being over. People think you can just stuff this thing in there and that's going to be sorted out. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And I think this is one of the things that for defenders of Israel, I consider myself one, you're putting people in harder and harder positions because this is all part of the Israel First Imperial Israel program. And it just hurt people. And it's not going to stop. Getting this out is not going to stop. And it's going to be a major effort. And it's going to happen. This was never going to be allowed to merge the industrial bases of the United States. We have our own sovereignty and our own deal. And yes, we can choose allies, for projects or for even for campaigns. And we should be able to have the freedom to do that, not be locked in. Harrison, where do people get more information? I know you guys are doing a great job of going through all this.
Yeah, so I definitely encourage everyone to check out The American Conservative. We've been covering it a bunch. Tucker Carlson's been covering it. The Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft also has excellent coverage of Section 219. And as you said, it's not going away. The goal is to make this permanent, to cement the really one-sided U.S.-Israel security relationship. So it's important, I think, for people to know what's going on.
Thank you very much. We're going to spend a lot more time on this. This is one of the reasons they skedaddle out of town. Think about this. They're gone until after Labor Day, the House. And the Senate, this is why we should have a throwdown on the Senate right now on this issue and many others. Harrison, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Todd Bensman, Harrison Berger of American Conservative, Todd Bensman of Heritage. Want to thank them, EJ. Tej Gill, a bunch of stuff to go through. Number one, overall, the Hill newspaper has a huge article today from inside sources on the massive bombing campaign. They do highlight in the piece that when they talk to senior Trump administration officials and the intelligence services, they still get down to, regardless of the bombing campaign, that this in their minds is going to come down to control of Hormuz. Before I talk about the New York Post exclusive on this massive operation, military operation to get the nuclear material, just your overall thoughts. Where do you think we are? You spent decades in that region. Where do you think we are in this, and how do you read the tea leaves of what's being leaked out about what they're thinking about as one option is to now go down and double or triple down?
Yeah, I think we're in the beginning stages of a forever war if we continue on the path that we're on. Panetta says we need to take control of the strait to have leverage with Iran. Taking control of the strait is easier said than done. We've been trying to take control of the strait for months. Remember, we have Operation Freedom and this whole thing. It's not an easy thing to do, though. Remember, the whole entire coastline of Iran on the Persian Gulf has caves and all kinds of underground stuff that have boats, unmanned boats, missiles, and drones. That's the kicker. How do you stop all the boats, drones, and missiles to protect our ships once we go in and take control of the strait? So that's a big task for Trump to do. So it can be done, but it's going to be costly and it's going to take a long time. I think the better option is get back to the negotiating table.
Well, his theory of the case is you can't get back to the negotiating table anything meaningful, is the president quote, until they feel more pain. Look, the Persian Gulf, I think I was right yesterday. I said 600 miles. I think it's 610 miles from Hormuz to Karg Island. And I think we just said 400, 450, which is, hey, in that part of the world, it's close. Just Karg Island. I mean, the scale of Iran, it's 90 plus million people. It's massive. You put it on the map of the United States, I think it takes up like the eastern half of the country. It's enormous, right? And it's also like the surface of the moon, as you know. It's got mountains like the Rocky Mountains. It's got deserts. I mean, it's an inhospitable place. And Tehran is so far north from the Persian Gulf. I mean, it's all the way up to the northern part of the country. But even talking about Karg Island is 600 miles, folks. This is not the Strait of this is not the Long Island Sound, okay? This is 610 miles from the mouth to get to Karg Island. I mean, even to mount an assault from there, you probably have to come to an Arab country, correct?
Right. You if you try to do a naval assault, you have to go through the Straits of Hormuz, and then you face the Iranian coast. And then remember, it's not just the Iranian coast. They have missiles and drones everywhere in the mountains around Iran, and they've flown them all the way to Cyprus, these Shahed drones. So they can shoot these drones from deep inside of Iran and hit one of our ships in the Gulf. Remember when Trump first took office, we were fighting the Houthis to get the Red Sea open, and we lost 2 F-18s off an aircraft carrier because they weren't tied down, because these aircraft carriers had to take evasive maneuvers to dodge drones and missiles from the Houthis. So that same kind of scenario could happen inside the Gulf. And all it takes is for them to get lucky once. We have to be on guard every time. We have to defend against every single missile and every single drone. They just have to get one hit on one of our ships. And if it's one of these ballistic missiles, or, some people say they have, we don't know, it's not confirmed yet, that they have hypersonic anti-ship missiles, but they do have anti-ship missiles that go Mach 3, Mach 4, Mach 5 plus is what gets you into the hypersonic realm. But if they're shooting from the coastline missiles that go Mach 3, Mach 4, that's a very dangerous situation to get in our ship, the Karg Island, to support the assault. We can fly in from Qatar, and we have bases all over Kuwait. We could do that. We could launch from there. But the problem is when we move the assets into Kuwait or into Qatar to stage for the assault on Karg Island, the Russian and Chinese satellites are watching everything what we do, and they give all that information to Iran. So it's hard to obtain the element of surprise. And if you get the element of surprise, how can you maintain it with all these satellites everywhere?
Now, let's go to the New York Post. Can we go to the New York Post for a second? I want to get, because they're working on a plan. It's exclusive. The New York Post has done great reporting on all the military operations. This is if President Trump, because remember, his focus has been from the beginning, and this is the 12-day war, when he had the massive expeditionary force was to basically take the nuclear program of the Iranians and totally obliterate it, which he said happened back in June of last year. And I think he was absolutely correct. Now, there may be certain aspects of it. This is supposedly supposed to cover the aspects of it, but just take a second and walk through what the building blocks of this are, because this is a sophisticated plan, but it also requires a lot of folks there for a while. Walk us through it, Tej.
Yeah, this is a very complex attack. Pickaxe Mountain, that's the one everybody's talking about lately. That's the one we did not hit last June, and that's the deepest one. They say it's 100 meters deep, and it's buried under hard rock, not granite, but hard rock. Fordo is the one we hit last June with the 6 30,000-pound massive ordnance penetrators that the B-2s dropped, and that one is 80 meters deep. And now they're saying we don't know if we destroyed everything. So to really destroy everything, you have to get into these mountains and set explosives and blow them up from the inside out. The mission that the New York Post is talking about will be one of our special mission units, like SEAL Team 6 or Delta Force would do this. They're trained in the nuclear non-proliferation arena, and then the Army would send in their EOD team with them. And these guys, they specialize in weapons of mass destruction. So first off, we have to get in there.
So hang a second. You have we have air supremacy, right? Not superiority, air supremacy. So you'd be able to do an insertion, but they've got it covered with their own combat troops, right? So you're going to have to take out the combat troops that surround it, then get in, do the work, and then extract everybody, correct? There's like 3 phases of this operation?
Supposedly we have air supremacy, but remember last time when the F-15 got shot down, when the 2 pilots were on the ground, we had an F-15 shot down, we had an A-10 shot down that ejected over the Gulf, and we had another A-10 hit in the air, and then multiple tankers. So we've destroyed all their radar batteries and all their surface air batteries that are on the ground. But the problem is they have them underground and they can roll them out, and they're still shooting down our drones. A lot of them. We've lost like 35 drones in the air. So it's still considered contested airspace. We don't own all of the airspace. So most of our bombing runs are coming. We get to the edge of the contested airspace and shoot from there. So flying deep in there, we can do it. I mean, look, we flew into Abbottabad, Pakistan, to do the Bin Laden range on stealth helicopters. I mean, we have all kinds of crazy technology we haven't used yet. So we can get in there, but the question is, can we get in there and not be hit by any anti-aircraft that they have, in a cave or in a missile somewhere? Because remember, Iran is a ring of mountains, so we have to go into that ring, and Pickaxe Mountain is basically dead center in the middle of Iran, and then Fordo is near there. So we have to go into these. We have to fly into these facilities. We have to fly a large assault force in there of special mission unit guys that are trained to do this, and then we have to have blocking positions. Another whole force that would basically create a steel ring around the assaulters. So they're going to be facing outboards. The assaulters are facing in. So the assaulters work the target, and then the blocking force and blocking positions, they have to form a ring of containment and protect the assaulters. So, because once these planes get in there and the gig is up, Iran's going to send everything they have there, and the ground troops are not a big deal. Our guys can go through them like a hot knife through butter. The problem is when they start shooting ballistic missiles and rockets at the assaulters, and then also the drones. Remember, we don't have any idea how many drones I've seen reports they still have 70, 80,000 of these Shahed drones, and they have underground factories that are manufacturing these cost. The estimates are 10 to 40,000 a drone, and they start shooting waves at drones at these assault sites, and that could be where the problem comes in. And our guys are worth so much. What is the cost worth? And then on the other hand, non-nuclear proliferation is worth so much, so the cost is there. And our guys that are doing these jobs, they know the risk, and they signed up for this. It's a voluntary mission, and in these units, you go through multiple levels of vetting to get there. So they're ready to die for this mission, but is it worth it? That's the question. And what is going to be the cost of this? Or should we just fly more B-2s over there and continue to drop these 30,000-pound bombs on these sites, the Pickaxe and Fordo? And then the other sites, Natanz, that's above ground. That's where they shot the Tomahawks last June. So that's the question, Steve. Is the cost worth the outcome?
Okay, hang on for a second, Tej. We're going to go to a short commercial break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk some coffee when we come back with Tej Gill. He left being a gunman for the United States military, served for decades in service to our country, and then founded the greatest coffee company going. We're going to take a short commercial break. We're going to be back with Tej Gill in the War Room in just a moment.
To the end, just watch and see. It's all started, everything's begun, and you are over. Cause we're taking down the CCP. Spread the word all through Hong Kong. We will fight till they're all gone. We rejoice when there's no more. Let's take down the CCP.
War Room. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
All right, let's talk about Warpath Coffee. If you haven't seen it, go to the site. It's warpath.coffee. And if you're part of the War Room posse, use promo code War Room. It's 20% off this weekend. Go to the reviews tab and read the reviews. We've got over 19,000 five-star reviews on our website. These are all real reviews. We don't pay you to leave the reviews. Once people order our coffee, you get a review email, and we have over 19,000 on our website. Plus, we have Amazon reviews. So people absolutely love our coffee. The K-Cups are on the screen right now. We were out of them for almost a month. We just restocked them this week. That's our number one bestseller, is the 42 count Mariners Blend K-Cup. It is amazing. People love it. It's the best K-Cup out there. We've got espresso. We've got a breakfast blend. We've got decaf. We have flavor coffee. The flavors are going to be vanilla, dark chocolate, and peppermint mocha. And then the holiday blend, we keep that stocked year round now. We used to only do it during Christmas time, but people email and call and ask for us to bring it back. So we just run the holiday blend year round. The espresso, it's Italian Frogman espresso. It's a light roast espresso. We did that. So it's less bitter than normal espresso. And that one, same thing, flies off the shelf. People love it. Like, people are obsessed with this espresso. We've basically got a cult following on Warpath Coffee. It's incredible. I took the Navy SEALs. We had the best guns and best equipment, and we always were taught to upgrade our stuff. So when I started the coffee, I wanted to have the best coffee. We roast it on a perforated drum, and by doing that, we don't burn the beans at all. That's the key, is not burning the beans and using fresh premium beans. And you can drink all of our blends straight black, even the espresso. The espresso you can drink straight black. So it's got very low acid content. It's not bitter, and it is out of this world. People absolutely love our coffee. Like, we actually turn non-coffee drinkers into coffee drinkers. I have people call me, and it's like some of my friends like, dude, I don't drink coffee, and I tried your coffee and I'm drinking it every day now. So Warpath is the deal. The website is warpath.coffee, and use promo code WARROOM for 20% off this weekend. Warpath.coffee, promo code WARROOM for 20% off this weekend.
Tej is absolutely amazing. By the way, you were such a natural bringing the show back in. I'm starting to worry about my anchor seat. I think I've got another co-host possibility. Tej, one more time. What I'm so proud is that when you left, you said, "Hey, if I do this, I'm gonna build the best coffee company ever." The coffee's unbelievable. It's the champagne of coffee. It's made to be consumed black, no cream or sugar. You will absolutely love it. Where do people go one more time to look at all the reviews that prove that?
Yeah, go to warpath.coffee and click on the reviews tab. And like I said earlier, these are all real reviews. We don't pay anybody. We don't even give coupons for the reviews. We just send out an email and people review them. And it's over 19,000 five-star. Like, it's crazy. Once you drink the coffee, everybody said we have a huge customer return rate. So it's warpath.coffee, and use promo code WARROOM, and you get 20% off this weekend. And just read the reviews. You'll get hooked.
Amazing. Thank you, Tej.
Thanks,
Let's
Steve.
go back, spend family time. And thank you for doing all the analysis, breaking all this down. I know you and the community, the special operator community, have a big vested interest in this with all your compadres and folks very tied up in all this. That's why it's so serious, and people got to treat it seriously and about what the alternatives are. Trevor Comstock, Sacred Human Health, brother. We're going to end on an upbeat note with you and Tej talking about two great companies started by young entrepreneurs. What do you got for us?
Yeah, great to see you, Steve. So just heads up, we are still currently running the sale for our Tallow Moisturizer and Sacred Healing Salve. So if you did want to take advantage of it, you can use code SKIN at checkout for 20% off any one-time order. And then I just wanted to touch on the Sacred Healing Salve just because we've been having amazing reviews coming in from people that have had amazing success with it in regards to healing a lot of knee pain and elbow pain that they've been struggling with for a while. As well as helping to heal a lot of cuts and bruises pretty fast. So for anyone that doesn't know, within the product, we have the Comfrey, and Comfrey's just been used for centuries to support things like pain relief, inflammation, bruising, and even tissue repair. So, you know, a lot of people love to use it for things like sore muscles. If you have joint pain, swelling, even arthritis support, it helps calm that down quite a bit. But basically, you just take a little bit, you rub it onto any area of your body that needs relief. And then we also paired the Comfrey with other nourishing herbs to help soothe things like the cuts, the scrapes, the bruises, and even insect bites. That helps calm those down quite a bit. So overall, it's just an incredibly powerful and versatile product. And like I mentioned, if you do struggle with things like the joint pain, the muscle soreness, or have some burns and scrapes, this is an organic product that heals a lot of those things pretty quickly and provides lasting relief. So I encourage people to check that product out. And as always, if you have questions, you can reach out to us.
Yeah, how do they where they go on the site and how they reach out to you? Because I know I've gotten tremendous feedback on people that have actually contacted you and you've walked into the products. Where do they go?
Yeah, 100%. So you can go to sacredhumanhealth.com or just type in Sacred Human to Google. And like I mentioned, through this weekend, you can use code SKIN at checkout for 20% off the Tallow Moisturizer as well as the Sacred Healing Salve.
Right before we go, just spend a minute on your focus on being an American company with American. You know, you do everything. You've put this together with a very pro-American outlook, and to the thing that you've walked away from operating margin and for your profits being higher to do this. Walk me just through it. We got about a minute.
Yeah. So originally, part of the reason why we started the business is because we noticed that all these other, supplement companies and health product companies were outsourcing everything, usually to China, where they can make everything pretty cheap. But obviously, with that, it comes a lot of issues with quality control. So we just wanted to start a company where everything's produced right here in the USA. It's definitely more expensive, but like I mentioned before, we don't mind taking a hit on the margins to produce quality products where we have real insight and quality over the products that we're making, as well as the ingredients that we're using. So all of our products are also third-party lab tested. So we're testing for things like heavy metals and purity, which most companies don't do. So that's always been our main focus, is just to make sure that we're producing the best products possible in the USA, supporting our country and not just outsourcing everything overseas like most companies do. So that's always our promise. Like I said,
It's fantastic. It's amazing. Great company and a great spirit. Trevor, thank you. Thank you for taking time away from the weekend to join us here. Big discount. Sacred Human Health. Go check it out. Immerse yourself in the information. Okay, we're going to be around on social media all weekend. If anything's happening, maybe we'll jump back on here. See you back here at 10 a.m. Otherwise, see you back here at 10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Monday morning, when you're back in the orbit.